Korean films were not always as good as they are now, but as China is doing now too, they send a lot of students abroad to study at foreign film schools in the United States and Europe and so on, Japan, and they learn filmmaking techniques, and so the technical quality is much, much better than it used to be. The budgets are much larger than they used to be. Also, the censorship system has changed. It used to be a very tight censorship system, but now it's very loose compared to the past. And so you can do themes that could not be shown on Chinese television. Korean films can take themes and violence, sex, very extreme. Take a film like Old Boy, Lao Nanhai, the Old Boy, which I show in my film class. That could never be made in China because you're dealing with incest, you're dealing with incredible amounts of violence, you're dealing with very openly sex scenes. All of these things would not be possible. That's just one film, but it's just the range of topics that are available. China does not have a rating system. They don't have a rating system. So Korea does, in a sense, and certainly the U.S. does. But the quality of Korean films is very high. The special effects are really good. That's why Feng Xiaogang and other Chinese filmmakers use Korean special effects teams. There's no reason why China can't be as successful as South Korea in TV series. Because a lot of Chinese officials think the Koreans are basically using traditional Chinese culture to make these soap operas in terms of family values and in terms of interactions with people. This is basically Chinese culture, Confucian culture. But China tends to not deal as much as Korea does with contemporary dramas. A lot of the Chinese dramas are either anti-Japanese Second World War, Kangzhan period, or they're Tang Chao, or the Tang Dynasty, Yanxi Palace, is very good. Some of the, Jin Young novels, martial arts novels, but Korea tends to deal much more with contemporary issues. Now, China's doing that more and more, and some of those have been quite successful. So eventually it may be as good as Korean dramas, but Koreans have been doing it for a very long time, and they've built up a big audience. The other thing, why South Korean popular culture is more successful than Chinese popular culture all over the world, in a sense. The so-called Hanliu, Hallyu, Korean wave. And China's addressing some of these issues, but one is that the education system in China tends to not emphasize creativity as much as rote learning. In other words, you basically learn something, you repeat something. You don't encourage individual creativity as much as the Korean educational system. Secondly, Korean films and American films even more so emphasize what we call an anti-hero. Not a Yingsheng, but a Fan Yingsheng. It's kind of an anti-hero. I don't know how you would say that exactly. You can find that in Korean films as well, but you can't find that in Chinese films. That's why Wolf Warrior 2 was one of the reasons Wolf Warrior 2 was relatively successful. This is a typical American hero. And the more you do that in Chinese films, the more likely people are going to react positively. But normally, the heroes in Chinese films are more like Lei Feng than they are like the Wu Jing character, and that definitely is not necessarily going to be successful. Or you have with some of the films like Jianjun Daiye, the founding of the army. You have I was watching that on the airplane. And I had to turn it off after 15 minutes. Why? Normally I watch all these films. I watch Jiandang Weiye, Zhenguo Daiye. I watch all these films, but this one I could not watch because the characters playing Zhou Enlai and some of these other heroes, these Xiao Shanrou characters, they're just so unbelievable. I've read a lot by and about people like Zhou Enlai, and this is not, no matter how young he was at that time, this is not really Zhou Enlai. It was kind of, I felt it was insulting. I'm not even Chinese, but I kind of felt insulting because you're trying to promote the box office by using these young kids to play these revolutionary heroes. That's a recipe for disaster to me.